brittleness to it or anything like that. So they did a good job with it, or they peeled off the wallpaper and did it right. Yeah, initial walkthrough, everything looks pretty good. It's got a pantry, but definitely needs work. And now is just kind of that point of deciding how much to put into it and get the most out of it. So my opinion is we clean it, repaint it, redo the trim. Some of the trim's updated, some of it's not. Leave the doors, just paint the doors, paint the cabinets, put new hardware on them. Potentially add a bathroom upstairs, and then just do the landscaping and yard. We're probably in it about 13-14 grand, and then sell for almost the same price point as doing a whole remodel. So that's my initial thought. And it's got new plumbing in it, new electrical, and new HVAC, so new ducts and a new furnace and a fresh water heater. So I mean, that's good advertisement for sure. Maybe run through and do some electrical updates on this thing, and then yeah, I guess throw her up and see what happens, I guess. So now that we've had a chance to take a look at the property, we'll go over kind of the key points that we were looking for. First is location. Second most important, I would say, is structure. Obviously, you kind of have to identify the type of property you're looking for. If you're looking for like a quick flip like this one, I think is going to be where it's going to be more less money put into it for the most money out, rather than completely just doing a full-on remodel. You kind of have to identify that before you decide what you want to do. So this one already has new electrical, newer plumbing, HVAC, so a lot of it's been updated. Floors are updated, the siding's newer and in good shape. Obviously the windows are outdated, but that's not a huge deal for something quick like this. So just an example, on this specific one, it's listed right now at $169. They've done a bunch of price drops in the last week, and then with everything going on in the world and the market turning, obviously they could be scared and in a bind to sell or wanting to sell quickly. So we'd like to take advantage of that. The comps for this specific street only range up to, I think, 210, which is a little bit bigger square footage. Our comps specifically are probably in the 195 range, and that's been in the last 6-7 months. Right now, I think we could only, if the property was cleaned up, we could probably get like 179 to 189 out of it, and that's without really doing anything. I think the only reason it hasn't sold is because of how messy it is on the inside. It's really hard for people to walk into a house that they're going to live in and have the imagination of things gone and be able to picture their stuff there and what they would do with it. They kind of just walk in, don't have that ability to kind of see through the crap. So basically something like this, we're going to offer them $140,000 cash, see if they take it. If not, we're just going to keep waiting for the right property. But something like this, where we could just kind of jump in, clean it out, maybe stage it a little bit, stage it nice, do some landscaping work, only put like maybe 5 to 8 grand into it, and then that puts us at 148. Obviously you have your other costs. I mean, there could be up to a $1,200 cost buying it for title fee, and then when we sell, we have 6% of realtor fees. So we have to figure that in as well. But I think we could, I mean, at least list it at 189 after just doing that. So basically kind of figuring out your goal for the property is a huge thing, I think. I really like doing big remodels, so I would love to find something that's going to take a little bit longer, a little more money into it, but is going to give us more of a for sure sale, and give us more of a for sure price at the end. Because there's those properties you can find that are giant pieces of crap, but the structures are good, and you basically just got the whole thing out. You throw 50 grand into it, but you pick it up for 140, 150. You throw 30 to 40 grand into it, but after that, you know you're for sure getting at least 230 out of it. So there's those properties as well. So this one I'm identifying as something we could quickly flip, get it ready in the next 2 weeks, with the little amount of work that we would want to do into it, and then just throw it up still for a very affordable price. Obviously we'd go through it, make sure everything's safe and as good as possible as far as being livable. Everything that I saw was livable right now, so I don't think it would need too much more than what we did. But so after location, obviously there's the structure and exterior finishes. If you're looking to not do that, obviously you want to identify and make sure you can salvage what's there. So this property, for example, the siding was good, the roof was good. I didn't see any major cracks or shifts in the foundation, which is good. No major creaking or anything like that in the floor. Not that that's a major problem. Those things like that are really easy to fix. Mainly it's just like if there's giant humps and shifts in the floor, you just want to be careful. None of that is really a deal breaker because everything can be fixed and made new or redone and made new pretty inexpensively and easily. So it kind of just depends on what you want to put into it. Another thing is looking at the trade work as far as the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. This house, it was updated, so we don't have to do anything new like that. But in a major remodel, if you're planning on doing a major flip, you'll want to kind of identify what service is in there as far as electrical goes. You're gonna have to put a whole new panel in. Most times you will. Sometimes these houses will have an updated panel and you can just go in and replace all the electrical, add your lights and stuff like that, and it's super easy. So just kind of looking for things like that, budgeting it out and making sure it's going to fit and make it worth your while at the end, because honestly, flipping houses, there's not that much money into it after taxes and stuff. So I think another big thing to look for is make sure if anything has been done to the house, see how it has been done. You don't want to just buy a house and something's been done as far as cutting in new plumbing or anything like that that's been done wrong, and you're gonna have to go fix and bring up to code anyway, because that could potentially cost you more money in the end. So keeping an eye out for stuff like that. I know it's kind of hard just walking through a house. Luckily this one had a basement I walked through. That's kind of where all the utilities run and all the water lines and electrical, so it was really easy for me to see what was done right, what was done wrong, and most of it was done right. So just kind of trying to identify those things is a really big deal, because you could get into a house and somebody could freaking run the plumbing wrong and cut way too many holes in your floor joists or wherever they're running it, and you could be having to replace floor joists just to bring it up to code and make it structurally sound again. So that could be a real deal breaker when buying a flip house. Another big thing when choosing a house to flip is having imagination. So being able to stand in the middle of the house and visualize your game plan. So game planning is a huge thing. Just like starting any business or any project or anything like that, you got to be able to kind of see your end goal without even doing it yet. So being able to stand in there, imagine walls gone, different colors, different space, being able to kind of just see the square footage change. And that goes along with adding square footage. So being able to look at the property, if it's a smaller house, that's never a bad idea, because you can always add on and add square footage to it. You can add a giant living room, you can add bedrooms, you can add bathrooms, a master suite, and just attach it and integrate it into the house. So being able to find a house and identify how big the yard is, and being able to kind of go with the city, you'll have to do a permit with that, so you'd have to make sure your setbacks are far enough away to where you can add the square footage you want, still keep the curb appeal and the yard that's desirable from future buyers. So having that imagination and being able to game plan that is a huge deal with flipping houses.